new name in the old continent. Welcome to the Inter-European Division. Europeans see Europe as a big city, united in its cultural background and respectful of its diversity. From the Baltic to the Mediterranean, from the Black Sea to the Atlantic Ocean, the EUD aggregates 16 countries with 14 official languages. We are 180,000 Adventist believers among 350 million inhabitants. Europe is a patchwork of people, languages, and traditions. A meeting point for world leaders and organizations such as the Human Rights Council, UNESCO, the World Health Organization, and the Red Cross. Catholicism, Protestantism, atheism, all born and forged in Europe, a continent of liberty, but also of challenges to faith. And it is here that we European Seventh-day Adventists are fortunate to fulfill His mandate. Each one of us a disciple of Christ and a herald of His love. We are passionate about the second coming and eager to announce it in the most various and imaginative ways. So come, follow us and watch how we are sharing the most important message for this time and for this continent. Christ is surely coming.
Christian Adventist youth. They're in the front line of the melee of ideas in schools and universities, offices and businesses, surrounded by opposition and doubt. And yet, they are the most joyful and effective defending their and ours faith and lifestyle. They do it tirelessly through personal witnessing and evangelistic events, always in the most surprising, original, and creative ways.
As I look at the European youth I've experienced, by the grace of God, this generation is going to make a significant difference in the life of the church and the future of the church in this very secular environment.
Since 2009, 9 countries in the EUD have been developing the KID project. Kids in Discipleship is oriented to support and help parents to create in their children a meaningful, personal relationship with Jesus. Participating parents witness that KID project has been reordering their priorities and changing their personal lives and relationships inside their families. Children, for their sake and for the sake of surrounding people, are really the best investment church can make in time and attention. In Europe, you cannot expect to open up a worship place and people come in search of something they do not believe in. Neither can you dream to stop someone in the street and start a conversation about salvation that they think they do not need. In some countries, the percentage of atheist and agnostic population is 80%. Then how do you manage to talk about the most important message for this time? You go where people usually are and try to interest them in their own area. And nowadays, that place is the Internet. Faith.Simple is a TV and Internet program for the German-speaking Europeans in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. A specialized, highly prepared crew discussed postmodern themes through live stories and debates in which people could participate online. During 2 months, a personal, authentic, and culturally relevant message has passed to 9,200 participants with a result of 1,500 contacts and 172,000 views. In Portugal, a campaign through the Internet gathered 900 Adventist families in their homes with their non-Adventist family and friends to watch an intimate, meaningful program for a whole existence. After all, existence is what unites all human beings. Life stories are the strongest signs that God is working through us. And this is a really strong one. Pauline Giurgi was born in a Christian, caring, and loving family and was raised as an Adventist. But as many young people in our days, his dreams were far from his God and his church.
I was dreaming of a career in football, playing football in a big stadium with thousands of people crying my name. And at the same time, I liked, the combat sports. I would say these were the biggest dreams of my childhood. Hooligan violence was the violence I was practicing, just fighting with somebody without a reason.
And many of his decisions were made because of the influence of a secular, atheist educational environment.
But I remember the time in the school. It was a time of nihilist and atheist approaches in the school. So the teachers tried to convince us that there is no God.
Enough of violence, decided Pauline. He found a meaning helping people as a social worker and had a life-changing experience as a volunteer for ADRA after the earthquake in Haiti. Today, he works as a communication director in Stimme der Hoffnung, Adventist main media center in Europe. He found God again and a purpose for his life.
My big dream is to find an appropriate way to translate the message of the three angels into a postmodern language.
In an European continent heated by the confrontation about different perspectives about religion in public space, the defense of religious liberty is both a responsibility and an opportunity. In Geneva, AIDLR, International Association for the Defense of Religious Liberty, works permanently in and with the UN Human Rights Commission, and in Brussels follows up the trends and decisions in the European Union. AIDLR organizes seminaries and congresses that are growingly respected and appreciated, like the Congress about Religious Liberty and Religious Minorities in Madrid in 2014. We do not defend interests. We stand for the principle of religious liberty. The health message is a foundational principle and a most valued treasure to share with people, and it has shown to be a very effective wedge in the minds and hearts of people in a secular society. Health Expo was designed to be an instrument promoting the principles of a healthy lifestyle and providing an opportunity for church members to meet people in need. Since 1999, in EUD countries, approximately 1,000 expos took place, giving the opportunity to contact directly with almost 200,000 people. In 2013, in Prague, the three European divisions organized the first European Health Conference under the motto Healing. In this event, health specialists and church officials gathered to discuss and share perspectives about the comprehensive process of healing. Health Message, the right arm of mission in Europe. In the sunny rural area of the south of Italy lies the town of Gravina di Puglia. ADRA decided to implement a center of influence in Gravina, specifically directed to help children aged 6 to 12 years to face and escape this insecure and hostile environment. A multidisciplinary team of volunteers made up of teachers, social workers, psychologists, and auxiliaries, developed a project for the after-school period. ADRA volunteers offer their holidays to stay present in children's lives during the 2-month period of school interruption in summer. To serve the needy, especially the children, is the greatest responsibility and privilege we receive from God. In EUD, we are always happy and grateful for all the great achievements in evangelism we hear in other parts of the world. That is a sign of the fulfillment of Jesus' words. But we are just as happy and grateful for one single person that God brings to His church in Europe for each one is a real battle due to the hostility or indifference against religion. That is why public evangelism takes so many different forms in Europe. Let's hear about some of them. The Big Cities project was vigorously embraced in Europe. So many people, most of them living so hard-working lives, and others so distant from God. Taking our message to the ancient cities of Europe became a responsibility, but also a real challenge. How could we use public evangelism in such secular cities? Using our imagination and asking for the power of our mighty God. There is a very specific part of the mission related to the very sensitive question of migrants in Europe. That is the work with the Muslim communities in European countries. We cannot show the faces nor name cities and countries where this ministry is taking place, but we want to ask you to join us in praising the Lord for all the Muslim families that are studying the Bible and preparing to accept Jesus as their Savior.
Through the Bible, we find that Jesus, when he came here on the earth, he served all the persons without said to them, you must be Christians. We pray that who he has spiritually come to ask to study the Bible.
In a continent where the news regarding religion are not always news of peace, these signs of openness are a hope that in the future, many others in Europe and their family and friends in other countries will be more receptive to the gospel. Can you imagine the impact in society that an association may have when it helps 4,000 people with disability through the will and work of 1,000 volunteers? It's huge. This is what the association Rise and Walk in Romania has as its goal. It's already present in 12 subsidiaries in 3 conferences, but it has the dream to reach for many more all over Europe. Have we already said that everything we think and do is mission-centered? If not, we're sure you've noticed it. In Europe, some of the biggest debates are the equality of opportunities of gender, violence and discrimination against women, and the role of women in society. EUD organized the first Women's Congress under the motto Women in Action in 2014. Ended now, the global campaign to end any type of violence committed against women has been embraced dearly and actively by European women and demonstrated to be an effective means to touch society. The Desert Flower Center at the Berlin Walfried Hospital in Germany made its mission to shelter and help women who are victims of genital mutilation, being the first of its kind to offer a holistic treatment to them. Waris Diri, the first African top model, supports the project, bringing a deserved attention by telling her own personal story.
When I see this sign, Desert Flower Center, I do believe dreams. I do. And without them, I wouldn't be standing here. So to have Desert Flower Center, it is a joyful in my heart. It's a personal mission to me of joy. I really never thought I will be standing here as a little girl of my dream. Officially, Desert Flower is open.
Me llamo Taida Lucía Rivero Herrera. Actualmente soy directora y misionera del Ministerio de Sordos Adventista en España. Y quiero compartir contigo un poquito de mi experiencia para acercarte al mundo de las personas sordas.
Let's look at an example of the importance of personal ministries and mission. Taida is a daughter of deaf parents. They knew the church by the influence of a deaf couple that her parents met in Venezuela and who came to Tenerife, Spain. After a first negative reaction to Seventh-day Adventist Church, Taida's father convinced her to come and see by experience before judging the church. Taida's husband, Ciro, advised her to learn sign language to enrich her curriculum vitae, and that decision changed her life.
Tengo muchas experiencias que podría compartir contigo como hija de padres sordos, pero la más dolorosa y la que creo que me hizo más fuerte para luchar por la eliminación de las barreras comunicativas fue cuando tuve que decirle a mi padre, a través de la interpretación, que mi madre iba a fallecer, porque el médico no sabía lengua de signos y no podía conseguirme un intérprete en ese momento. En aquellos instantes yo no tenía valor ni fuerza para poder transmitir el mensaje de que mi padre iba a perder a su esposa, mi madre, pero tuve que hacerlo. Fue la peor experiencia que he vivido como persona y a nivel de intérprete.
Feeling people's needs and suffering as her own, she felt she had a role to play in helping them and dedicated her personal life and professional skills to it.
Ponte en su lugar. ¿Cómo te sentirías si no pudieras comunicarte con los demás? Si nadie te entendiera cuando quisieras decir algo. Como iglesia, Dios nos manda a llevar el mensaje de salvación a toda tribu, pueblo y lengua. Hay más de 70 millones de personas sordas esperando recibir el mensaje de que Cristo viene ya. ¿Serán tus manos las que le hablen de Él?
We all live in a world that needs solutions to its needs and its suffering. That solution is our beloved God. Some people listen to His appeal, others ignore it, but everybody has to hear it. Even if many don't listen, we are winning a lot of battles, one life at a time. Our voice and our hands, always with a smile, are speaking of God in Europe. Bring words of hope and healing. And the greater and most decisive invitation of all times, come.